All right, we're going in game.
We're going
We're gonna see what it is anyways. Let's jump into game number 1. EECA, Rising Rage.
They will be the Eastern Shin, that's what I'm saying.
Against FUT from Turkey A. Let's jump into the game.
Okay, let's see what we got right. We got the CC up against Phobius. We got the Farsa getting picked up right there and then. We got a Gata Gacha as well for FUT Esports.
YSS is on the other team.
YSS is on the other team. Let's see how things play out. We got Asuna trying into the mid side.
A little bit of damage already. Nora Asuna with the 1v1, 2v2. But Every continues to outpush the damage. Rising Rage up against FUT. First minute in.
I think we got to slow down. I think we got to calm down because we're seeing the draft for the first time, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that a Tigreal?
That is a Tigreal.
Okay.
Okay, let's see how this thing plays out.
Let's talk about the draft.
So much time for that. Zendaya taking a lot of damage, though. I think she will be safe for now. As Asuna getting the Tigreal up, I think what they want to play is around the Zaman Force. Mako goes in with the Zaman Force and tries to disrupt any of these team fights, but I don't think we'll see the value of Tigreal until the really late game when Mako actually comes into the team fights.
I mean, overall, Rising Rage, it's an aggressive composition. You have a Hayabusa who wants to jump in, wants to find flanks, wants to find angles. You have the Kimmy who's going to output damage. And then you have Carry to melt as well. It's aggressive. It's what we want to see on the side of FUT Esports, though. 3
greedy heroes. Asuna getting stunned up, push back.
A lot of damage onto Asuna. Asuna might not be able to get away from this one. Zendaya takes the kill. Nora able to just get away. Rising Rage falling back.
Good aggression from FUT Esports, and this is what you want to see with an aggressive team, especially from Maria with the Eastern Shin. You want to be able to get that early game snowball and turn that snowball into an avalanche. First turtle game getting spawned up. FUT Esports in a better position contest for this one. They don't have Asuna in question. Maria taking a little bit too much damage though, but they are still safe and sound.
Yeah, turtle up. Unohana able to get the Infernal Pursuit. Nora as well pushing him back. Feathered Airstrike comes down as Unohana keeps Rising Rage at bay, but maybe too deep.
Ooh.
Finally drops. Gets the kill, actually. Every falls, and Unohana finally pays the price, but that's a good trade in the book of FUT Esports.
Good is an understatement. They took out 2 members of one member of Rising Rage as well as the turtle to their names. So this is pretty much a good trade. Unohana actually committing highly with that Phobius. The issue with the Phobius in the late game especially is that you have to deal with the carry. So if you're in the face of a huge skirmish or a huge team fight, that's when things will definitely go south. But FUT Esports getting the best start that they can have as Rising Rage still needs to wait until that late game. Bondi really needs that the Trinity build to come online, especially since you're dealing up against 2 really tanky boys. Don't really have a lot of vengeance, so right now the Revitalize will come in handy dandy in the early game.
You know, just to point something out, there was no veil.
Oh, there was no veil.
It was all
so
a veil over
issue.
our eyes. Not letting us see the Farsa.
We just got bamboozled.
We got bamboozled, we got tricked, we got... You know, yeah.
Yep.
The other words, don't have my thesaurus on me right now. But I will say this, FUT Esports starting things off fast, but Rising Rage not falling behind in terms of gold, not falling behind in terms of map presence. They are all over the place. I got a feeling we're in for an aggressive, fast-paced game.
You don't see a Vredian around, but they're actually doing a very good job, or FUT Esports knowing where Rising Rage is at all times, and Miko actually going down into the mid-game rotations, trying to get and funnel in all of these lane farms as the Eastern Shin, Maria, desperately going into the jungles and clearing up all these loose jungle camps. This is what you want to see in FUT Esports. You have 2 basically greedy heroes facing up against Rising Rage, just 3 very greedy heroes. So Maria, right down the bottom side, Zaja is very low, as FUT Esports might be able to contest for this one and set their sights up for this turtle.
Yeah, I think in all of these big fights, one of the big threats of FUT Esports, they got to watch out for Asuna because they have this YSS who wants to get the back and forth dash with the passive. At any point you get pulled in, just like that, speak of the devil. But down comes the Feathered Airstrike, look at the damage. Look at the damage, Viridian able to take out Maria. It's 1-1 right now. Unohana gets the kill. Unohana once again pushes forward Zendaya, looking for the shot, doesn't have the wing by wings to chase her down. FUT Esports comes out once again in that team fight.
it all almost went south for FUT Esports. Nice little implosion from Asuna to trap Maria and Nora, waiting for the right iframes to end from the Eastern Shin. And Zendaya just popped in with the wings by wings, got into position, throws down the fair airstrike to sweep things up. And I think FUT Esports is just riding on this aggression, and they're building that snowball. So far, not a sizable economy lead, but this is going to be a free turtle going to hand to FUT Esports. What I'd like to see from the top side, though, Miko versus Bondi.
Yeah, Miko might get picked off here. Doesn't know Asuna's there. Asuna gonna look for the push. The slow does come in from Starling Scythe. Miko now trying to fall back, but it's too much. Miko will not get away, and the kill goes into the pocket of Bondi. A perfect place to put it.
It's too high committal, very sacrificial play from Miko. Just one person soloing down up on that top side. They know that they don't have vision down the turtle, so that was a huge mistake that Miko is making. We haven't seen the Harith actually popping up so far, but we always talked about it when we talked about it yesterday as well, that Harith has been nerfed down to the core. No one's picking that up, but hold on a second. Asuna getting pushed back.
Nora does get pulled back, but down comes the feathered airstrike once again. Zendaya is just always there at the right time, and this is what I mean when I was talking about the Farza, man. It feels like no matter what it's up against, as long as your positioning is clean and your timing on those feathered airstrikes is right, and taking out Bondi, a double kill over to Maria.
Just finding kills after kills. The stars were aligned for Maria, and with the killing spree, you have a second lease of life. Every single time you kill a member, you have so much HP regeneration and a little bit of a movement speed to get a little bit more rotations down. And speaking of rotations, and I like what you say, Trex, the Zendaya Sparsa is everywhere on that map. On the top side, Mako's in trouble. You got Zendaya just flying through the jungles and being right there and then. In the 5-minute mark, we typically see the trio coming into position. FUT Esports taking down that T1 up top side, and they're going into that Trinity.
Yeah, it's looking good for the side of FUT Esports. The gold is starting to push more and more into the favor. A tower's down. Look at the damage. It does come down. Feathered airstrike drops once again. Nora still okay. Zamon's force, but Asuna does get caught. Zasha able to take him out. Zasha able to take another as Unohana's in the backside, finding Bonnie, but Maria was late to the party. Does find a piece, does find a kill, evens it out 2 for 2.
2 for 2 kill. Turtle going to hands of FUT Esports. They don't really have a lot of damage from Rising Rage to contest for this one, but Redian, I don't think she wants to go in with the shadows to steal anything. You don't want to have that kind of commitment right there. But at the end of the day, I feel like Rising Rage is much better off in a defensive position. Asuna using the implosion to catch 2 members, especially Zendaya and Miko, to try to convert those kills into kills for themselves. There's no objective takes coming in for Rising Rage. Look at all the turrets still fairly healthy.
Oh, Unohana once again dropping dunks. Out comes the shadow kill, but Unohana still gets the kill. Next, Zamon's force does drop, but it's not enough. Asuna falls. Miko just causing mayhem right now. FUT Esports showing up in the land of Dawn.
They're on ice skates from the mid side down to the bottom. They're everywhere, and they're sprinting down. Taking a little itemizations, it does look like Bondi one more item to get that Trinity, to get that power spike, to get that damage in. But already, Miko, that's why the Harith has been so popular. You don't really need so much items. Only the Stardom side, only the Feather of Heaven, and then you come online. So right now, FUT Esports, they can use Miko into any one of these nice little skirmishes and positions. But on the top side, off of the map, Maria takes down Bondi.
Maria the player. Right now, I mean, just all over the map, making this YSS look so good. Asuna does land the implosion under the tower. Still not enough damage. Unohana will finally drop as Everidian, able to get the kill. Maria will fall as well. Everidian with the double. And while this is happening, Maria does try to take that purple, does secure it, gets away cleanly, but at the price of 2 members, just not worth it.
Yeah, Asuna and Every has so much wombo combo potential. Implosion into the traction pulse or vice versa. Whatever works. At Rising Rage, they're taking it slowly, taking it one at a time. Being in a very defensive position, they understand that FUT Esports is very high committal. You want to be able to be in your face, especially Miko, especially Unohana, and they basically just turn that around into kills. But right now, First Lord's getting spawned up, Rising Rage in position, gold lead, pretty much 2K negligible at this point. It's just an item and a half. FUT Esports, the play is coming imminent.
Suna with another pushback implosion on a 2 once again, but the Fed airstrike keeps Rising Rage Bay. Bondi taken out. Maria, the player, finding plays in the backside, but taken out by Everridian. Everridian with the shadow kill as Zasha pushes FUT Esports back and splits them up. It's a 2 for 2 once again. Rising Rage is hanging on.
The 3 members on both sides. FUT Esports doesn't have the jungler as FUT Esports desperately tries to delay Rising Rage from getting that Lord. Both teams want to fight S5. Zaja busy down the bottom T1. The whole Trinity already built up for Bondi. You have a little bit more damage from that carry alone and able to shred everything down. Forget about the early game. Right now, the mid into the late game, it's all about Rising Rage showing their presence in.
All right, Lord gonna go down. Nora comes in a little bit late. Feathered airstrike, a little misplaced. Everridian does drop. Unohana able to get the shutdown. Bondi though, making plays happen as well. Maria able to get the kill. It's 2 for 1 right now. Lord still marching down as FUT Esports find 3 in the midst of the chaos.
To be honest, Asuna made a heck of a play. That was a 4-man implosion. But at the end of the day, Avery couldn't even get close. Everridian was already down. Bondi couldn't get close enough. She was able, she was down before she could dish that much damage. Zaza unable to follow up against the Tigro as well. Take a little replay. Look at where Asuna is, just prancing in. Nora starting things off as well. She's just walking into the fray, trying to stop that Predator airstrike, but it was a too soon, too late. It was 3-man implosion, and Bondi just slow hitting from that back. If you're in a carry, you want to play in a defensive position, but there was no tanks, there was no bodies blocking you from hitting those shots.
And so much of this has to do with Unohana just keeping the rest of Rising Rage at bay. Asuna can make all the plays she wants, but if Everridian's not there, if Bondi's not there, it just doesn't matter. FUT Esports seems to continuously at least win out on some of these team fights, but still look at the map. It's blue. Rising Rage still controlling a lot of this game.
You still have a barren bottom side. Unohana dragged in by the traction pause into the AOG to disrupt everything.
Ooh, Unohana may not be able to get away from this one. Asuna actually picks up the kill. Miko finds Every. Zendaya here to back him up. Asuna drops. Zasha just trying to get away. 2 members drop, but FUT Esports needed the 1v1 ninja fight. Maria up against Everridian, and Everridian wins once again.
Man, it's a 2 for 2. I don't think the Yusun Shin is able to take the Hayabusa on a 1v1 for now, but FUT Esports is just a brawl fight at this match. Every single kill they take is 17-12. I think this is the highest that we've seen all of today. But at the end of the day, 50 seconds till Lord spawns up. That's a major objective that FUT Esports and Rising Rage needs to contest for. And I think at this point, both teams, Economy, even Stevens, they're able to fight and dance around this Lord. Right now, does look like Bondi is actually coming into position, does have the damage to take everyone down, just needs to be protected. So, like I said, Trex, in the defensive position, if Bondi is unable to get touched by Unohana, I think they have a better shot.
But here's the thing, right? When I was looking at Rising Rage draft, that's one of the problems that I'm seeing is, yes, you have this carry who can do so much, but your only real blocker for your marksman is Asuna, right? And even Asuna wants to kind of dive. So what keeps on happening is Maria just waits for that and targets down onto Bondi. Or Unohana just waits for that and targets down onto Bondi. So Rising Rage, the way they enter these fights, positioning is gonna be key.
I think how they could play it is Every just staying back, holding back around Bondi, but you also want to be in a close enough position to land your traction pulse. You're starting things off with the Lord Dance, and I think FUT Esports has a huge value into this Farsa. Well, hold on a second, Everridian taking a little bit too much damage right there.
Look at Zendaya, look at Zendaya. Oh, Miko finds one. FUT Esports now with no retribution on the field for Rising Rage should be able to do this, should be able to take this. Miko finds another on the backside. Bondi taking out a triple for Miko, looking for the 4th. Immortality does pop. Asuna gonna come back up. The Maniac. All you gotta do is find one more, but they're gonna hold back and go for the Lord.
Everything went south when Everridian took a little bit too much damage, shadow dashed into the mix, and Miko just immediately pulverized this Hayabusa. They can just cycle it though. They have the manpower. 5 men versus 1. It's 4 seconds till Everridian comes online. They're able to take this turret down. And also Lord marching down the bottom side.
They might be able to finish it before that at this point. Minions coming down the mid. They do decide to back off. There's a tier 2 on the top that they got to clear. Miko's there, getting the Lord's work done right now. FUT Esports, did we expect the game to be like this? We're at 33 kills total, a bloodbath.
Miko almost got taken out by a Viridian, so good find right there. But able to get a little bit of a reset before the Lord actually crashes down. FUT Esports desperately needs this Lord to break down that T3 bottom side. So opening up all that jungle, it just puts Rising Rage in a very defensive position. But still, silver lining though, Asuna has a high ground potential in that implosion. Ooh. Zendaya?
There's just so much damage on the side of FUT Esports. AOG does pop. Zasha just trying to get away. Nora though, might fall. Murray able to get a kill for himself. Zendaya on the run, but Zasha gets stopped and Bondi finds Maria.
Here goes Miko.
Off the map. Miko though still getting involved, does drop the force, but it's a little too far away. Every now responding. Uno Hana drops. Bondi with the double. 4 members down on the side of FUT Esports, and once again, the map is reset.
Big turnaround from Rising Rage. Everything just went south when the AOG landed, but the taunt back and push back by Asuna into the turrets just shut FUT Esports down. They're strong as 5, but when you layer in 1 by 1, it doesn't really hurt us that much for Rising Rage. And the fact of the matter is, like I said, you have high ground defense coming in from the ECA. So if you get a little bit too close, if you're a little bit too high committal, Asuna will take you down. Let's take a look at a replay to see how things went down. Get AOG down on the Winter Crown. Asuna just pushed Nora back. And when you don't have that tank, you don't really have a lot of shields to deal that much damage.
Maria goes down. I mean, it's just, this was, maybe they went a little too deep here. They could have waited. They could have kept it chill. But overall, I mean, it's those small mistakes, and that's what we're seeing so much from both sides here. These big team fights happen, and one of them just goes a little too far.
A huge hefty brawl, but at the end of the day, Zendaya is still 3-0-10. This woman is still unstoppable, and Rising Rage has to find an entrance over to Farsa, shut her down. And once Farsa's out of the picture, it might be more of a better advantage in the objective fights, but it's easier said than done. The onus goes down to a Viridian. If he's able to find a flank, if he's able to maintain that lane, the side lane pressure, this is how you're able to take Zendaya down. But you're just so protected by 3 beefy boys.
Oh my God, what is that damage from Every. Uno Hana is not going to be able to just burst in anymore. Zendaya does drop the feathered airstrike, but they're going to have to give up this mid-tier 3. Rising Rage, once again making the map blue. Lord is up, and this is Lord number 3.
Starting things off, Maria trying to find an entrance in. The Lord gets a reset.
Every goes down, Maria able to get the kill. Miko does drop the Demon's Force. Zasha there's unfazed by it. Asuna does get the pin. Everinian able to take out Maria. Now there's no retribution from side of FUT Esports. Double kill for Everinian. But members are dropping on both sides. Everinian just trying to hang out, and Uno Hana takes him out. And now it's a red streak on for both sides. FUT Esports stand tall on top of this Lord. All it takes is one here. Zendaya gets the final hit. The Lord goes to FUT.
It's one after another. Rising Rage just queuing in. Into the Lord pit they go. But the timing isn't right. The Lord already spawned up, marching down the mid side. Zendaya has so much damage potential, and Rising Rage are struggling to take her down. That was a good find by Maria onto Every to start things off, though. Okay,
Lord coming down. They don't have enough, like you said, to push down with this. So Rising Rage should be able to shred this. And the map just gets reset once again. We're closing in on this 20-minute mark. Gold at a standstill. At this point, everyone's just about maxed items. Take a look at the gold distribution between both junglers. Maria was ahead a lot, but now it looks like Everinian is catching up.
Slowly but surely, though, I think the play that mattered most is Asuna and Bondi trying to go into the mix, but we can see clearly Zendaya adapting to the situation, holding on to the fair airstrike until Bondi shows herself, and that is the adaptation, the versatility that we want to see in this Farsa. If Every or Bondi ever goes down in this last team fight, this last push, I think FUT Esports might have a better shot. Rising Rage is able to find their way into Zendaya. There's going to be a long death timer that she's going to claw her way up from that grave. They're starting things off with the Zaman Force as well, but they touch and they go.
All right, let's take it from here. I mean, FUT Esports at this point, yeah, just play it slow. You don't need to rush it. You have the Farza. You have someone that can just kind of stiff arm if they try to dive in. They have a composition that can deal with Rising Rage diving to them. What it can't deal with is them getting too split up at this point, because Every and Bonnie can both shred. And if one of them, if Unohana goes too deep, he's gone. If Maria goes too deep, she's gone. It's a problem, and FUT Esports needs to understand that.
I know it's a risky situation, but if Ridden is able to go to the side lanes and try to get that push, you split FUT Esports up in part, I think this might be a good shot for Rising Rage. But at the end of the day, though, I think for Maria, you do have that vision play and vision control over the entire game, so it doesn't really matter for them. Just waiting out for the next Lord, and we're back to square one. But Trex, this is a 50-50. It's been 20 minutes or so.
It's closing in. We're closing in. I wish that, you know, I mean, it would have been helpful for FUT if they would have gotten that bottom tier 3 tower, that bottom tower, base tower, because they would have had advantage on this long lane. Now, with it up, Minions still the same strength. Rising Rage playing more of a much wider map, but are they going to pay the price for that? Because FUT Esports is blitzing this Lord. Every showing up a little late. Everidian as well, going to get zoned away from Unohana, and Lord goes to the side of FUT Esports, and look at this in the backside. Asuna gets the stun. Every starts busting shots. Maria, though, able to take him out. The double kill from Maria. Members are dropping. Miko drops from on Force and finds another. Everidian all alone against 4. Looking for the getaway, looking for the outplay, just looking to try to get out of hell right now. FUT Esports, all they got to do is close it in.
What a play for FUT Esports, and they take another kill off their name. There's 4 members down for Rising Rage. Lord also marching in the mid side. They might be able to do it here, Trex.
This should be it. FUT Esports, after 21 minutes, find game number 1.
Game numero uno. From the draft to here, we thought that Veil was going to be in, but the Farsa showed so much promise. Even in the last second when the Farsa was taken out, FUT Esports, they overturned that situation. I didn't know what that thought process was when the Tigra came up. It might have been better if we had the sequence of drafts, but then again, that was well-played execution from FUT Esports right from the start. And we wanted a brawl match. They got a brawl match.
Yeah, I mean, they were going blow for blow for blow, and a lot of times when it comes down to those types of matches where it's just throwing punches at each other's faces, seeing where everything falls, the grittier team can win out, right? It's not always about the draft. It's just about, and I feel like FUT Esports, they took a lot of those fights together as a unit, and I think that's where we saw the other team just kind of, Rising Rage just fall a little short. Sometimes one of them was a little late. Sometimes Asuna went in a little too far alone. Sometimes, you know, Faja would jump to the back while the rest of the team wasn't following up. And if you're going to go for that type of play style where it's, we're just going to throw hands today, everyone needs to be throwing hands.
I also want to point out that for Rising Rage, though, every time they secure a kill, they didn't convert it into major objectives. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let's take a look at, or let's hear from Leo. What's your opinion on all of this?
It's been a while since we've seen this kind of MLBB, right?
Yeah.
This is
Scrappy.
Pedal to the metal. No, I've seen Scrappy. This is more than Scrappy. This is pedal to the metal, you know, down on the ground, just, you want to roll, sir? And it's been 15 minutes, like, we're still rolling. How long did this thing last? About 20-something? 24?
24 minutes.
24, 25.
24 minutes,
25.
Of non-stop action.
All right, an MMA round is 3 minutes. A championship MMA round is 5 minutes. This was something else. This was something that happened in a back alley.
This was underground.
This was
backyard wrestling.
And it's so refreshing. I'll tell you now, I wouldn't have it any other way. But there was something you both mentioned that really made it count despite all of this trading, whether it be beneficial, whether it be planned, that made the difference for me. The fact that, I don't know if it was Chura who said it, I don't know if it was Tre who said it, but they just have so much damage. FUT Esports, who said that?
I don't know.
Every had a lot of damage. Everyone had a lot of damage by the end of that game. Both teams were just aggressive, like, yeah.
Okay, to be fair, I think it was just easier for FUT to put the damage out there, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that Every was not protecting herself as well as Zendaya was. Yeah, Zendaya, y'all. Zendaya was just, woo. Nobody could talk. Why?
Because she's the greatest showman.
Because she's MJ.
She's MJ.
Yeah, no. So that's what made the difference to me. It's like if everyone is scrappy except for one, the team who has the least scrappy person, the team that has the one member who knows how to conserve herself, will come out on top. And that's what happened here. Again, I don't know if they planned for this kind of MLBB to be played here, because again, the shortest route to victory is a straight line. I don't know how they both decided to run circles around each other.
It was intense, to say the least.
Yeah.
It definitely went the long haul, both teams. I mean, yeah, we saw a few mistakes from each side. We saw some really good gameplay, I think, from both sides. Like, in terms of, I think, micro, right? Maria was able to many times single out members of Rising Rage. I'm excited we finally got to see the YSS actually perform very well. I feel like so far it's kind of fallen a little short here and there. So, hey man, at least we didn't have to see the Veil.
Oh yeah, I was looking forward to the Veil.
I was usually looking forward for the Veil.
But we instead got a different debut, all right? So we still got something that we were looking for, and that's the Tigreal. Your thoughts on Asuna's Tigreal?
Sacrificial. Just one word, sacrificial. I think a lot of the times, Asuna had the right idea, pulling in 2, 3, 4 members at one point with Implosion, but there was just no follow-up. I like Tigreals that play with Implosion and into the push or the drag. That sequence, and not that, you know, the typical dash into the flicker, into the Implosion, because at least you have some form of repositioning of your opponents. Asuna did that very well. The only issue is, who do you protect Bondi? Because Bondi was right at the back line, and whenever Asuna opens up that opportunity for Bondi to come close, she gets a little bit too close. So the positioning for that carry needs to be in question. Is still in question.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Tigreal is very usable, very possible. I just don't think it was this comp. I don't think it was this game, and I think the side of Rising Rage just weren't either all on the same page. There was a couple plays, as you just said, where either Asuna went too far, and maybe they were doing it right and FUT was just doing it better. Maria was always getting to the back line, finding those moments. But yeah, I mean, because there were some great implosions. Problem was Bondi was late to that party. The moment Bondi runs up right there, as we saw it, immediately taken out. So there's something that's got to be worked out here.
I know what it is. So, because you have the Implosion, but every single one of the members are single target damage. You got CC single target, you got Hayabusa single target. You might argue Shadow Kills split damage, but it's not so much.
Carry.
You got the carry single target damage. It's not enough AoE damage to follow up around the Tigreal. The only one that matters is the Kimmy, but I saw at the end of the day, the Kimmy is not enough to take down the tanky boys. Like, you want to deal with the Phobias and the Gato in the backside, and target prioritization.
They needed a Farza.
And the team that had the far side, the team that had more AoE, was the one that got there. And I think, again, that's the main difference. Now you put it better into words. The fact that FUT Esports had the AoE, FUT was much easier, had a much easier time dishing out the damage that they had, made all the difference. So that now that puts Rising Rage on the back foot, one game away from losing this series in a sweep. Something's got to change. Number one, I think the draft. We always say that, but folks, it's just true every single time. Maybe the Tigreal was right. What would you have changed if the Tigreal stayed? Because I think, I agree, Asuna really tried. Asuna was a significant part of every major team fight. It's just they couldn't take advantage of the setup that she provided.
I think they shouldn't have. I think first picking the Kimmy when the Farza's still out there, maybe a little bit greedy, maybe a little bit, shouldn't have gone that path. I think they could have played with a different mage. They could have ran something a little bit different. But overall, either way, even that game, they were close to winning that game a few times. FUT made some mistakes. Do I think the draft could have been better? Yes. Do I think some of the gameplay could have been a little bit better? Yes.
Whoa.
But yeah, I mean, there was definitely some moments where they just seemed a little split up, and in a comp like that, you don't want to be split up. When you have an implosion possibly coming in, everyone needs to be ready right then and there. There can be zero hesitation. So yeah, we'll see how they approach the next game.
I have a feeling that the next draft, if it doesn't change fundamentally for Rising Rage, it's over. I think
To be honest, though, me and Trex just missed the entire sequence of the draft, so we might see
There
like
was
maybe,
no sequence.
There was no sequence,
sequence.
so there wasn't a lot of information for us to go on to this. I mean,
So
the
we couldn't put
players
a
definitely
pin
know.
on what the priorities were.
Yeah, because it could be like, okay, maybe the second pick wasn't the Veil. It could have been the Farsa. It could have been the Eastern Shin. So it denied their triple marksman, I don't know, plan.
So we don't know if that's the case.
So we don't know if that's the case. So we can only hypothesize, and we hypothesized quite a bit and within that region. And the Farsa getting picked up for FUT Esports was actually the nail in the coffin for if it was picked up in the first phase.
Yep.
Because then the Kimi doesn't have a lot of like zonal potential, and you want to throw Tigro into that mix. Very high committal hero. You want to throw yourself, throw your body in order to get a nice implosion, and there was just no follow-up. But yeah, to sum it all up, there's not a lot of information without the sequence.
Yeah, in any case, the denial might have been the decision. The fact that they did not get the Kimi in case they were going for triple marksman benefited them in the end. So with that said, I would also have liked to hypothesize, right? Because that alone makes half the game. That alone might have been what changed the outcome here, because I'll agree with y'all, gentlemen. I think Rising Rage had about the same win rate or chance to win as FUT prior to this, but we can only speculate as to how the draft went. So with the draft set aside, should there also be a change in priorities? Were they not rotating correctly, or at least putting enough pressure on Zendaya or maybe even Mieko? Because, folks, this is uncanny. I'm uncomfortable with this. The Harith winning. You're not supposed to win with the Harith in this current metagame, but if you do, then that means something went very wrong for your opponents, or you did something extremely well, very extraordinarily with that Harith. Did they not put enough pressure on that white little baby boy?
I mean, we saw Maria
White-haired
going up to the gold lane a few times and getting some ganks early on. We saw the way that FUT rotated early game and looking for those off lanes, which immediately gave Miko a slight advantage and was able to scale a bit. Yeah, the Harith hasn't been doing great. Miko made that Harith look great, though. And Miko wasn't super aggressive on it either. Was more of willing to wait, let you come to Miko, and then Miko drops his Zaman's force and just, you know, dash around. It wasn't like the typical dive Harith that you see sometimes, where like you drop the Zaman's force, jump in the middle of all of them, and boom, boom, boom. Miko was much more passive with it, and it worked out.
And she's the single Purify holder out of all of FUT. So,
like, she wants that implosion to come.
Put it here so we can play after it. So maybe there was enough pressure, and I think it was just a matter of timing then. Because again, this was a 24-minute game. At some point, even if you did put enough pressure on Miko, and assuming she had a worse KDA for that, Rising Rage, they just didn't end fast enough. A lot of fights happened closer to their side of the map, so they weren't even controlling it that well. Looking at the lineup again, considering they may have also struggled with map control, given that there's a Yisun Shin on the other side, and of course the massive artillery mage that is the Farsa. Could that be a game changer? What if some way, somehow, if Yisun Shin ends up on one side, like for FUT, should they prioritize Zetian? Is it a check for every to have a Zetian?
From what I remember from the draft, Zetian was banned out in the first phase.
And that's why when Zetian got banned out, and then ECA picked up the Kimi first pick. And I was immediately like, I'm not crazy about Kimi up front when there's still a Farza on the field. I feel like the range is a big deal. I feel like Farza, like, in my opinion, I think she's probably, I put her as my #1 mage right now, in my #1 mid lane. I think she's prio over some of the others, but I mean, again, that's all debatable. But definitely range, and we've continued to see that range be a problem.
To be honest, though, in my opinion, there is a certain way to deal with the assassins in the jungle. We've seen that in the first game, Virtus Pro up against, sorry, not Virtus Pro, GG up against Navi MY.
Correct.
Very aggressive, go head on, go mano a mano into the jungle, try to disrupt all these team fights, and leave you farmless. The fact of the matter is, Rising Rage was unable to do that, or they didn't have that courage or that confidence to be able to execute that as well. Bear in mind, they have the CC. And when you have the CC, or even a Khalid, or the Hilda, is more notorious for sitting in your jungle and getting their aggression going and trying to stop the snowball from happening, especially from the assassin.
Yeah, maybe it was more of a lack of pressure on Mireia. I agree. The few times that we actually saw Mireia in threat of dying was when Iridian tried to kill her. Yeah, but that's not the best way to use a Hayabusa. You want to send the Hayabusa over to kill Zendaya. You want to kill Mieko. But alas, here we see this shinobi chasing this Korean legend. He's not a ninja, by the way. Like, as cool as that is, like, it's not even anime. It's like, what is the...
Like manhwa?
That's manhwa is like... So what is Korean anime still called anime? Regardless.
Manhwa?
No, that's
manga?
what he said.
It's not really manga.
No, that's Japanese. That's Japanese, but...
Whatever it is.
I mean, a manga fight is an anime fight. Same thing.
True, it's just slower. And you need to read. But regardless, I think the pressure was lacking on Mieko. Or rather, no, on Mireia. So if they put more pressure on Mireia, maybe even in the draft, we see this change. Maybe the tides turn for Rising Rage, and maybe we finally, somehow make it to Game 3, but that still comes down to how the draft is attacked.
I mean, with the way the last game went, I think it's very possible we could see a Game 3.
Yeah.
I think at this point,
regardless of what the draft is like.
It's very possible. It's exciting. It's crazy. They're throwing punches. I think Game 2 could even be even more of a slugfest.
Elbows,
knees,
shins,
knives.
Whoa.
You know, they threw out the ticker in the previous game. Right now, I'm excited to see what else they have up their sleeves.
What if, again, we did mention this earlier, a possibility just to really change the tempo and, you know, give FUT Esports a quick gut check to see if they're ready to respond. What if Asuna picks up a support, an Enchantress support, like a healer, you know? Because, again, it's clear that the Turkish ladies and the ECA reps here, they love to fight. So what if you pick a hero that's like just says, all right, keep fighting, we're going to keep going?
I know you just want to tease the Rafaela. Just someone pick up the Rafaela right now.
Rafaela,
we haven't seen the Rafaela in action.
Angela, like these make for such close fights.
I mean, when I saw the Kimmy earlier, that's where I thought they were heading. I thought I was heading to something more sustainable. You get your damaging mid lane, you pick up a marksman after that, and you just run Ube, right? But then the Hayabusa's a little bit too much. You know, you guys talked about the triple marksman. The YSS, it works with the double marksman because he doesn't get too far away, right? Like, he still has to stay close. It's not like a Hayabusa that's completely leaving your team behind, right? And I think that's where the draft starts to get now it's a little too much. You're too split up. You're too all over the place. But let's jump into the draft.
Too much of anything is a bad thing. Let's see if Rising Rage can even the odds and take us to Game 3. It's Trex and Churros running you through match point with FUT on the play.
Going into match numero duo, is that a right word? Dos. Starting things off, FUT Esports banning out the Freya 1-1 Phovius, who've actually gone a long way through. It's already second phase of the draft. They actually banned out the Suyo as well. On the other side, Rising Rage taking out the Hayabusa to Tian Jusin and Baxia. What's on the board right now? The Uranus, Kimmy, Granger, as well as the CC, Farsa, and the Gato for Rising Rage. Yisun Shin still on the table. FUT Esports really teasing the Yisun Shin coming into the question as well. And I think for this gameplay, nothing really changed too much. Actually, they're swapping their mid lanes. So at the end of the day, I think for both of these mid laners, pretty head-to-head matchup in the lane-to-lanes. But the rotations definitely will come through for Rising Rage. But hey, what do you think?
All right, while Trex is gathering himself, I'd like to say, come on, fool, why you gotta ban my Suyo? We've been alluding to said hero for a while, and I think they read into it. And having seen Rising Rage play, isn't Suyo the perfect hero for this very scrappy team? It's just like, all right, I'm in, I'm out. I can sustain a bit with the Sever hold. Come on, you're breaking my heart, Rising Rage, they got red 4 here. They still do not have a jungler and a gold laner. Irithel is still left open, yeah?
I want to see Irithel, I want to see Moskov, I want to see cross-map plays, but Irithel will be going into their hands.
Pretty good at this prediction thing. Maybe I should be a caster.
Oh, please.
Okay, FUT. Again, here's another change.
The Fredrin will come out.
Mireia showing us more layers, depth to her hero pool. She picks up the Fredrin, and I'm so thankful that it wasn't the Uranus in the jungle. And then they cap it off with a Kalia. How is it that Kalia is now being seen in the second phase like this. This is injustice for this little mermaid girl.
I think it's very consequential because you want to go in, try to pick off someone, and I think it makes it easier for the Kalea to disrupt the Farsa. But I think FUT Esports just trying to suss out that they want to go for a wild card or a sort of a random pick.
Okay, that random pick is not as random because it definitely is going to be the jungler. And here we are, the second time we're seeing
Exborg Jungle.
Exborg Jungle for the day. Currently winless. Trex, what do you think?
I mean, against the Fredrin, it's definitely possible. There's something there overall. It's not as bad as it looked earlier that we saw it. I think it's something that maybe could work here. They do have burst damage, a lot of burst damage behind it.
Not only burst damage, you have true damage to break down the shields from the Uranus as well as the Fredrin. You're always in the front lines trying to soak up as much as you can. Definitely will be a difficult... FUT Esports will find it difficult to find their way into Earthel's face to try to disrupt her, get her out of position, but also now they have to deal with the Farsa on the opponent's team. Now the tables have turned. This is looking much more balanced for side of Rising Rage, but then again, FUT Esports trying things out. We've seen good plays with Uranus, and it's going to be Uranus EXP lane, and we're jumping in.
Yeah, I mean, last time we saw the Exborg Jungle was earlier and it was up against the Estes, and it just wasn't, it wasn't enough at all. We are going to jump into a pause real fast, so we get to talk about this a bit more. I think this time it could be a bit more feasible. In the past, during Fredrin, during the Fredrin meta, essentially, we saw traces of Exborg here and there because of that true damage, right? Because of the ability. You add that up with the CC as well, War Axe, things like that. It can definitely become a problem. They have the damage behind it, but taking a look over at FUT, it's a great draft as well in my eyes. You have some power picks, right? You have the Kalea, you have the Uranus that we were just talking about so much earlier. That is a nuisance overall. And then you have things to back it up like the Granger.
What I actually do like about FUT Esports draft is the Kimmy and Granger composition coming in, and you're basically just hitting into one direction. It's easy for you to get a barrage into that. It's easy to penetrate into the front lines and try to break through that damage, and also a little bit more of a non-committal stun from the Traction Pulse. So that's what I like to see about the adjustments that FUT Esports wants to make in order to have a more dominant game. On the other hand, Rising Rage has more zone of control. Only with that Farsa alone, and you pair that up with the CC, the backline is not going to have a good time. But in order for FUT Esports to play their cards right, what I think should happen is that the Kimmy and the Granger would need to be sort of like pseudo frontline, if you know what I mean.
I mean, this is definitely the type of draft I want to see with a Kimmy. With the Kimmy mid, you have this Fredrin in front of her. You have some possibilities. The Farsa is definitely scary, mainly just for the range, and the only long-range hero on the side of FUT is the Granger, and that's really just the Destinata, and even with the last nerf on him, that range has been shortened, so it's a little hard to try to close that distance. But I think what they need to do, they got to use that Kalea, right? If the Kalea, and not be be kind of straightforward as it, but also be able to pull some sneaky plays off, be able to pull some ambushes off, be able to catch that Farsa off guard, because if you don't, then it's going to continuously be a problem, because their composition wants to kind of huddle together a bit. Their composition wants to just engage you, and that is one of the hardest things to do against a Farsa.
I like that you pointed out the Kalea. You have a lot of different options to approach in. You could go for a bush ambush kind of situation, or you could go sort of like a flicker jump onto a person and then get a tsunami slam in a unfavorable position, getting a reposition into a skirmish. But also, typically pick up the Kalea just to counteract how the Gacha Gacha wants to play. When you have a tsunami slam, Gacha Gacha comes in, tries to disrupt using the AOG. I don't really see the value of Kalea if you have a Tsunami Slam and it gets disrupted by the Gato.
Yeah, it could definitely be a problem. I mean, there's a lot of answers, I feel like, on both sides, right? I think we're in for a much more possibly methodical game this time than last time. It might not be as much of a bloodbath. I mean, it could still happen. They could both still go and just start swinging hands, but I feel like both teams can take this at a different approach.
But who do you have your vote onto this round?
I like Turkey's draft right here. I think it's just clean overall. Yeah, the Farsa, again, like I said, for me, it's one of my strongest mid laners. it can really just make a difference for some reason. The damage is just crazy. The early game rotations with the wings by wings are crazy. And even though she's a sitting duck with the ultimate, you have the wings by wings to get away, which makes her not as much of a sitting duck as a lot of, you know, stable ult mid laners. So it's tough. It's a tough call on both sides, but here I still like FUT. I mean, I still like FUT.
Honestly though, Rising Rage, I like that their composition is much easier to execute, but then looking at game number 1, it's an all-out brawl. We might expect an all-out brawl again. Now that Farsar is in their possession, it might be much easier for them to take the objectives and get the Lords into their hands and try to push it through. But then, that being said, they still need to have that confidence to play the cross-map plays or the side lane plays. That was what was missing in the first game. We always see Rising Rage going for kills, going for trades, but it's not exactly a trade. You leave the side lanes wide open. Typically, you pick up a Hayabusa, you want to be able to push in the side waves, try to get at least a T1 or T2. They attempted to do that, but Maria was always there. Now, the turns have tabled because Maria is on a stocky boy. He's a little bit slower on movement speed, a little bit slower on rotations. How do you think it's going to pan out?
I mean, I think in terms of rotation, I think in early game, ECA may have a little bit of an advantage in terms of rotation, just like getting around the map, maybe looking for some early pickoffs. The thing is last game they weren't able to do that. If they can do that this game, maybe slow down the Granger, do things like that, get themselves ahead, they could looking for a good example. But the problem is with the Fredrin, right around third turtle, even second, but third turtle, first Lord, he becomes a problem. The damage is there, and then he's also tanky. I think what's going to be big for the side of ECA is trying to find a way to get to the backline. But now that they have the X-Borg, they don't have a way in, right? Really, so they just really at this point have to go for more of this stiff arm strategy of kiting, getting them down as low health as possible, and then going for the kill.
Do you have to agree with you? There's a lot of ways that EC can play this around, and I see your perspective on FUT Esports, and yeah, I think we're going to set things up into motion. There's a little bit of a technical difficulty, so we're going to be jumping into a little break, so we'll be back with more MLBB action coming back at you. See you soon.
We have built enough anticipation for the final series of tonight. This is game number 2 between FUT Esports and Rising Rage. Match point right now for FUT Esports. How you feeling right now? Are you ready for this?
I'm more than ready. I want to get things started. I know we missed a little bit of the draft in the first game, but right now I want to see what actually goes down. What is their thought process in every single bit of the match? I know we missed out a couple of early game drafts, and I want to see what is going on right now. In case you missed it, I think they're redoing the lobby because there's a lot of technical difficulties that's going on, but we want to have sort of like an even playing field for both teams. But then again, I think it could be anything right now. I don't think what we saw in the whole draft actually is
everything going to stay?
Yeah, it's everything in the stage because
is everything going to stay?
Yeah.
I mean, I like both drafts overall. I think they're very playable. My guess is it might be staying with the draft, and maybe they just needed to re-lobby up. We will see, of course, how this pans out. But either way, taking a look at it, FUT Esports on match point, looking to get that much closer. What does the ECA really need to do here to even the playing field?
Definitely look for conversions, getting the objectives. And when I say objectives, it's not the main turtles or the lords that really count for them. It's more of the turrets. You want to get the turrets taken down, open up the maps, open up the jungles. Don't let Maria walk in all fine and dandy into your jungles and just having a free shot for that. And she's just picking up everything that she can.
So you would say it's more on the terms of gameplay than draft, right? It's gonna what happens in the game here, and I can kind of agree with that. I think last game, even when they were behind, we saw Everidian getting some solo kills on Maria. We saw them able to win out on some of those fights. It wasn't exactly anyone's draft's fault completely. We know the possibilities are there for ECA here. They just need to kind of pull through.
Speaking of which, players are locked in, ready to go. Sorting a few things up. It looks like they're still in the draft. They're trying to redraft everything, and hopefully we get that draft getting pulled up once again. But hopefully, like you said, Trex, everything will stay the same. We would see, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm mistaken, you got the Fredrin and the X-Borg in the jungle for both sides. It's a trade for trade. Kimmy right now in the hands of FUT Esports, and Farsa going in the hands of Rising Rage at this point.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, that matchup right there is kind of weird because in terms of skills, we do see the X-Borg meltdown, but it looks like we're going for a whole new draft here. So we are going to be picking things up. Freya banned once again from the side of FUT Esports. Definitely something they don't want to see, and they're going to first pick that Uranus right away.
I think nothing's going to change. Farsa and the Gato are going to be there.
Okay, so it's same draft?
Everything same draft. So it's going to be the Granger and the Kimmy getting picked up. So we're speeding things up right a little bit more. So
yeah, we can just talk to what I was saying. Pretty much the X-Borg, it's passive, like the way it does true damage works well against the Fredrin. But the thing about the Fredrin, because of that dash, he can quickly close a distance. And what X-Borg doesn't want is someone to stun him up for even a second, because that's when the damage comes in. Fragga armor's gone, and now he's useless. He can't pop his ult. He can't survive much longer. It's a problem. So a lot of this, as you said, comes down to execution, Rising Rage. Can they keep that distance? And I think so much of this match is going to be kiting for Rising Rage with the CC, with the Farsa. Put out the stiff arm and make sure they don't tackle you. That's the plan right now for Rising Rage. Even with the Aerithel, another great kiter. Their whole composition relies around them keeping a distance and getting as much damage down as possible.
It's also sort of like a pummel through ballistics missile kind of draft where you start things off with either AOG or the curtain call from that CC, and then X-Borg drives in with the last insanity, buying some time, and then Aerithel comes in with a heavy crossbow, cleans up shop. I think that would be the best case scenario, especially since you have a zonal potential and that range from the Farsa alone. For the side of FUT Esports though, the best way they can play it is just do cross map plays. Just do like proxying that wave, trying to pull everyone's attention away from team fights and onto the Uranus themselves, and then try to redictate the position of all these skirmishes.
Yeah, for sure. Now we're finally going to be having the chance to jump into this game. The draft is exactly as we saw. Like I said, the anticipation is rising. I'm ready to see it go. Last time we had a really fun match. But let's jump into the land of Dawn. FUT Esports sit at match point. Can Rising Rage even the playing field?
jumping right in. First thing I'm actually looking at is Export versus Fredrin. Who jungles much faster? And it seems off the bat, the leash coming in from that Kimmy alone would be able to get Fredrin that fast rotation down to the EXP side as early as possible. We're looking at a mirror-to-mirror matchup, starting on the same side of the map. In the mid side, though, Zendaya getting a little bit aggressive, and that's how you want to play it around a Kimmy. But I think, okay, it's the same. I was mistaken. So Zendaya is still played the Farsa in the previous one, right now Kimmy.
Yeah, and I mean, taking a look at the emblems for Everidian, pretty much full damage, no defense capabilities there, nothing to kind of maybe give yourself a little more health. They're going pretty all in. I'm excited to see exactly what he builds here. Most likely, obviously, going to pick a little bit of defense. Bondi, though, and Miko going for the 1v1 already in the top side. Miko doesn't have that level 4 just yet, but still, the aggression is already there.
Speaking of aggression, you see Nora giving intel duty, the reconnaissance duty over for FUT Esports. They know where Everidian is. They know how they want to play this, and Maria just walking fine and dandy into the jungles, though.
All right, Nora looking for the Tsunami Slam. Doesn't have level 4 just yet, so can't pull it off. I'm forgetting that we're not even at level 4 yet, and they're already trading blows. I'm like ready to call the ultimate in, and it's just not possible because we're a minute and 40 seconds in.
To be honest, though, wasting all these crucial resources, the flicker's gone just for the lizard on that bottom side.
Hey, man, I need that lizard. No, I need that lizard.
You Floridians and your reptiles.
Yeah, that's how it is, man. Every minion counts. Listen, everything on the map is a neutral objective between these two teams.
Hey, you can keep your lizard suit because right now I want that turtle stew. And FUT Esports starting things up with that turtle. Doesn't look like Rising Rage wants to contest for this one.
Everidian's showing up, does have level 4. Watch for the last Insanity coming at the last minute. Every in the backside. Maria still able to get it. The knockup happens. Asuna now in a little bit of trouble. Everidian as well. Unahana. Down comes the Appraisal Wrath. And 2 members are deleted. Zasha might just be next. Yes, a triple kill for a Fredrin. We're 2.5 minutes in.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Nora buying FUT Esports sometime, and that one lizard caused Every to not be level 4 for that turtle fight, and FUT Esports, they're drinking turtle stew for dinner.
They threw in a couple members of Rising Rage in the stew as well, stirred it around, took a bite. All right, gold lead, looking at almost 2,000. Unahana all alone right now. Should be able to get away from this. One feathered airstrike does finally connect, but Unahana's still safe, and this is why Uranus might just be at the top of the pecking order.
I'm not surprised. This is what to expect when you're playing a Uranus. Very annoying, always boxing that wave, and Rising Rage needs to pull members in towards Uranus, and it doesn't seem like you can take that down. Unohara already up to full health.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem. You know, Sadafa said that he hates Estes. I think Uranus needs to be on that list because that right there is a hero that nobody can deal with. And I mean, yeah, we're just back to the eternal struggle here in the XP lane. Turtle is going to be up in about 37 seconds.
The damage from Uranus is also starting to show that adjustment that they had in the previous patch was actually starting to hurt. 30 seconds until the turtle spawns up once again, taking a little itemizations. It does look like Mieko has that Hunter Strike ready. The damage will come through. 1 level ahead of Bondi as well. And it seems like Rising Rage, even though they're 1 kill behind, hold on a second right here.
Ooh, Suna does get stunned up, immobilized. Tsunami Slam does happen. Feathered Airstrike dropping down. Everidian just trying to get away, but there's no getting away from Maria today. Unahana now also just rage baiting him at this point. Come on in, please. Give us a try.
We were so stunned up and shocked by the damage that the Feather Airstrike can deal in the previous game, but right now, it deals nothing at all. They're just walking in. Hit me, I'm right here. There's a huge red mark and they don't care. And Unohana from the bottom side of the map, they're in every single one of the team fights. This is the momentum that FUT Esports wants to build, and it kind of seems like, man, the early game is sealed.
Okay, so where do they go from here? Everidian, and this is what I meant, right? Everidian wants to be able to kite, but when you're a jungler, you also kind of want to get a bit close at times. And it's just, he's having trouble, man. She's having trouble. Xborg is not performing right now. 0-2-1. And I think if they lose this one, I think at that point we know maybe the Xborg jungle just isn't it. A nice AOG into the backside though. Look at the top. Miko does go down. Asuna able to get the kill. That's huge for Rising Rage. Maria does pop in Appraisal's Wrath just to try to escape, but Rising Rage is chasing him down.
Unohana, Nora getting caught out, stunned up, shot out to infinity and beyond. It's 2 members down for the side of FUT Esports. And right now, Unohana trying desperately to save that T1 down the mid side. They eventually can, as Everridian, they take what they can to get out of the way. From a 4K gold deficit right now, pretty much even Stevens, 1K gold lead for FUT Esports, and they're ramping up that aggression themselves as Rising Rage. Their rage definitely rising for now. I think the play that Everridian can do in this point is really hold back. I think play towards that late game, try to get the immortality. Skypiercer already built up for Mako as well, so looking for a lot more kills down on this last turtle fight.
I gotta say, Zasha has been doing a great job as well on the CC, has been being a pain as well to the side of FUT Esports, doing the same thing that you would do on Uranus, just getting in the enemy's face, harassing, being an annoyance.
4 seconds till the turtle spawns up. Does look like they want to find someone first.
Nice Tsunami Slam. Feathered Airstrike does come down though. Every just trying to help defend. Maria has to run away. Everridian low. Everridian gone. Zendaya gets the kill. Back in the mid side, a lot of damage on to Nora. Nora used the flicker just to dash back. In comes Zendaya to help out Every, repositioning with the wings by wings, looking for the stun onto Unohana. Unohana might just be too late, but wait, that's a Uranus. Nothing to worry about. No struggles here.
He's still
1v3,
She's still
going.
This is what you want to expect. This is what you want to play around as a Uranus. And Unohana hit it right on the head. Proxying that waves, free turtle again over to FUT Esports, but they're ramping up the aggression. Nora goes in deep.
Nora goes in deep, does not use the Tsunami Slam, finally does. Maria's there to try to help out Nora, just trying to get away as Bondi looks for some free shots. In comes Unohana once again, in between them all. Asuna drops, Miko with the kill as Zasha's in the backside looking for Nora. Zasha able to get it, but Miko's there, ready to save the day. Drop the final hit, get the double, wipe them out. It's 2 for 2. Rising Rage still trying to hang on.
It's long extended, but it's so well worth it. Nora started things off. They took down the T1 down the mid side. Jungle is pretty much open for FUT Esports. Now, Maria is able to play however she wants. It's 4-0-2 on this Fredrin, and Rising Rage has to deal with 2 really tanky boys all over the map.
There's something to point out, right? There's something important to talk about here. My favorite mid lane hero right now, the Farza, 1-0-3, it's Deathless. And that is going to get scary and scarier as this game goes on for Rising Rage. That could be the saving grace. I mean, last time it went on, man. And I think it could go that way again. The way both these teams are starting to get back into that slugfest mode, it's possible.
Unohana dragging all of Rising Rage onto herself, proxying the wave, drawing all the attention into the side waves, and this is what I said would happen in that draft. You want to play around for Uranus? Sure. Go around and proxy that wave. Rising Rage wants to stick together, but you need to send a loose member down to deal with that Uranus. Now it's wide and open. FUT Esports converting all of these little pull waves into objectives, especially those turret takes.
Look at Unohana in the boss side too. Just, you know, man. Songs playing in the background, birds chirping in the air. I'm going to take another tower, hang out in your jungle. Rising Rage trying to make some plays up top. Maria able to get the stun on Tasha and Bondi. Zendaya as well, just looking for the camp. The lizard is important, remember that.
Look at how Nora is actually zoning everyone out of the way. Uranus zoning everything out and pushing the minions into the turrets, and they need to be able to respond to this one, but they're not fast enough. Every doesn't have that confidence to use the wings by wings to fly in to try to deny that turret. Lord standing up strong. This is the first Lord of the game. It's FUT Esports waiting for Rising Rage to get in position. They're 3K gold ahead, so if they want to go into a skirmish.
Oh, Asuna in a bad spot. Tsunami Slam does come down. Brought back, taken out. Asuna still up. Nora actually drops instead, and Asuna will get away safely with the AOG. Rising Rage find the advantage in that fight. A feathered airstrike to save the day. Nora and Maria gone, no retribution for the side of FUT Esports. Rising Rage can try to push this.
They read that so well. Mako in the spot of bother able to dash out of the way, but Rising Rage, they saw that opportunity. Unohana right from that flag.
My God.
Oh, it's Bondi.
How does they do it? Just once again, it's one hero against the world. Put a Kimmy behind him, and they're invincible.
Zendaya still dashing, weaving, bombing away. Is still alive, able to sustain all the way up through. That's
Zendaya? Again, with the dash through. Can he get the outplay? No, finally taken out. Every gets the slam, gets the kill, but Uno Hana's still there.
The Lord spawning out right now. Maria starting things up, but the damage from Rising Rage, they unleashed everything onto these two tanks, and Uno Hana, this is her playground.
They bought enough time, squeezed every bit of juice out of that one. Wait till Maria get back on the field and get the Lord of the Tsunami Slam on Asuna. Connects onto the AOG. Can Asuna do it? No, not today. Miko with the killing spree as Uno Hana just zones away the team.
A worthy sacrifice. Uno Hana regenerating everything back up. She does not have the sprint as of now, but it does not really matter as FUT Esports just taking full control of this game. It's looking hella blue at this point, Trex.
It's not a sacrifice if you never die. Uno Hana 1-0-8.
Man, talk about your Farsa. Still 2-0-5, but it doesn't really matter. For the airstrike does nothing. It's just stacks on stacks on stacks. And right now, Uno Hana is everywhere on that map. Rising Rage needs to find a way to be able to handle this Uranus, but this annoyance is too much to handle.
Okay, let's take a breath. Let's slow it down a bit.
Okay.
What's the big problem for Rising Rage here? Lack of crowd control. There's no way to stop Uno Hana, right? So what's
They're
the
not even
answer?
trying to. They're not even trying to stop Uno Hana. They're just letting Uno Hana do her thing.
It's true. I mean, that's because there's just zero crowd control at this point. So I think the only thing, they got to wipe out everybody else first and then get to Uno Hana at the end. Even then, they might not be able to take him out.
One thing I noticed is Nora and Uno Hana, the interactions from the Kaleas healing even more up for that Uranus. They're starting things strong, but things can go south really fast. Traction Pulse will land.
Nora jumps in. Every drops a feathered airstrike once again just to clear the waves. Zasha does luck onto Nora here, but Miko's lock targets Nora just able to get away as Uno Hana continues to hold the front line. Rising Rage still stuck inside of their base.
A little bit of a defensive play for Rising Rage. A successful defense. They just need to keep this up for another 70 seconds as Uno Hana constantly hammering down to half, and up to
Every
full.
gone, Miko able to get the kill. Maria now looking for more. Uno Hana in the backside. Just destroying them one skill at a time, taking shots of the tower to the face. He finally falls. It's a shutdown for Everidian, but we all saw the tower do the dirty work. And it doesn't matter because FUT Esports still closing in another Tsunami Slam as Asuna's gone, and it's nothing but Zasha to defend.
No Mako, no problems. Zendaya is wearing up her shoes, pulling up her socks, locking in and taking everyone down. You line up in a line is where you will go down. And FUT Esports just total domination in this game. 4,000 gold lead, but there is no way that Rising Rage is able to handle this Uranus. Taking a little itemizations, doesn't really matter as much, but you have the Radiant Armor coming in from Everidian. But even with the Radiant Armor, you're not able to sponge up enough damage from the Kimmy herself. And this is really in a dire moment as the Lord getting spawned up in 5 seconds. FUT Esports in a much better position to zone everyone out of the way. And look how far Uno Hana is actually rotating up onto that top side as well, starting things off.
I mean, that's Uno Hana's objective at this time. And last time we saw some lacks from both teams of overall map control. And this time it seems like both teams, we look at Zasha, we look at Uno Hana, they're both hanging out in the long lane right now. They're both kind of making sure that it doesn't get too pushed, but now Zasha's gonna come back, and that means Rising Rage, if that's the game they're gonna play, they need to make their move now while Uno Hana is away, and down comes a feathered airstrike. Look at the damage, Tsunami Slam though, it's 1-for-1 still. Zasha gone, Maria gone, but it's a retribution for the side of FUT Esports. Does Rising Rage want to try to go for the Lord here? No, Nora gets the knock up as Miko's in the backside, but Miko gets deleted. Bondi finds the kill, but Uno Hana is still here to save the day.
She's just
how does he do it?
Full
How does she
of
do
power,
it?
coming in strong, soaking every single one of those hits up. And I think they played it as best as they could. With Maria down, no retribution, at least you want to find some salvation from Rising Rage, deny them from that Lord. But how I think they could play it a little bit better was going onto the long lane, try to get a backdoor play. And that's how FUT Esports is able to play this around, especially with the Uranus around.
Yeah, I mean, it's even when Rising Rage kills Miko, kills Maria.
You still have
There's
Zendaya
still
to deal with.
nothing they can do, man. It just doesn't make sense right now. Unohana is single-handedly carrying this game. Asuna now locked up, can't move, taken out. Unohana takes out Bondi. One by one, the dominoes fall.
Talk about a tank. This is a planet you actually have to take down, and she's healing everything back up. A little bit of a taunt right there from FUT Esports as they make quick work of that Lord. They have all 3 lanes in question. Lord will march down mid, and if they can, take down these T3s on both top and bottom sides, and Rising Rage will not be able to have any defense at all. Unohana keeping everyone busy.
All right, Rising Rage, once again. Can they defend this? We saw them, they were able to do it last time. Lord's gonna be coming down the mid, no tower to defend. FUT Esports taking a wide objective, making sure they clear all the lanes, syncing them up, and try to get one big push to finish things out.
Silver lining, they do have high ground. Farsa and Airstrike will be able to clear out the lanes. They're starting things off with that Lord. Bottom side already pushing in. They're facing their fire onto the Lord.
Big pick, a lot of damage. Zasha already gone. Zendaya takes the tower as Maria holds down the front line. Look at the damage. It's too much to handle. Maria finds Asuna. That airstrike comes. He held onto it. She held onto it. Unohana drops. Lord's still on the field though. FUT Esports. Nothing but Zendaya, Maria, and Miko to try to do this. It's a 3v3. Will they go for it?
No, it's too risky. They need to stay disciplined just a little bit more. Wait till Unohana comes back up. Try to soak every one of those damage out. But at this point in time, 100 seconds till that Lord spawns up. It's a lot of time for Rising Rage to come back up online in this front. They could have ended it right there and then.
One more Lord.
One more Lord.
One more Lord.
We're
maybe
back
two.
at it again. Maybe 2.
What, you know the only Lord that matters, right? The last Lord.
The last Lord, which will never come, which might not be. But then again, look at the map. Super barren. Rising Rage only has their throne left in question at any one point in time. Honestly, though, if you're playing Uranus and how you would like to play it is if you want to put the Uranus up alongside that Granger, try to find a angle, a sneak play into the back door. Rising Rage is not going to bother about that side, that long lane. Look at where the top lane is pushing in, really in deep, 25% down onto their turret base.
All right, so FUT Esports, once again, I think they just approach this the same way they've been approaching it. Rising Rage, though, man, they win out. They've been winning out on some of the team fights earlier. They got Maria, they got Miko. I think at that point, they just need to commit, man. Even though Unohana is harassing in the backside, it's like, we got to get this Lord. Yep. We have to get this Lord. We took out your retribution. That's what you wanted. You got to just go all in. And if it ends up with just 2 of your members and Unohana, at least you got the Lord.
I would say give up this Lord, try to play defense, because this is where FUT Esports falls apart. Very high committal draft. At the very least, you throw in Nora into the mix, you throw in Maria into the mix, you get a traction pulse onto Asuna.
Ooh, AOG forced to try to get away. Maria does lock on to Every in trouble, locked up, taken out. This could be the end for Rising Rage. After a long game, we're 18.5 minutes in. FUT Esports still unable to close the distance completely, and this is what I meant by the kiting from Rising Rage. It's so hard to get a complete wipe on them.
Yeah, they come in too fast. It's like a ballistic missile once again, homing in onto that Farsa, and once you take out that Farsa, you don't really have that high ground. And like I said, it's a little bit difficult for Rising Rage to contest for this Lord within their jungles. You have to deal with a lot of flanks that's coming in, especially from Unohana. Sometimes it comes in from Nora alone, and the sustain from all of these tanky boys, tanky beefy boys, are not enough. It's Rising Rage back on that defense.
All right, this Lord may just be it finally. Maria does take a lot of damage. Everydian, he's running away. Miko able to get the kill. Another one drops. 2 down for the side of Rising Rage. FUT Esports looking to try to finally close the game. But airstrike comes down. Down goes Unohana. Every still continues to defend. Rising Rage hanging on, swinging from the chandelier right now. Minions on the base. Maria tries to close the distance, tries to drop the Apprentice's Wrath, but is locked up and taken out. Everydian gets the kill, and Rising Rage continues to rise from the ashes as the Lord closes in.
They're too low. They might not be able to do this, though. Lord down the throne.
Oh, Miko, along with Nora, clean things up. They sweep them down, and FUT Esports takes the series.
What a game. Man, another game where we can't catch our breath. Unohana was everywhere on that map, and the damage really comes through from FUT Esports. At the end of the day, there was nothing that Rising Rage could do. I would say this was a really dominant performance from the Turkey.